The powers of Ultra Instinct are indeed a power that is far too rare and seemingly impossible for any mortal to achieve, and being that Goku was one of the many first to achieve this power, what if Vegeta was also able to do it? What if Vegeta was also able to achieve Ultra Instinct during the Tournament of Power, overpowering Universe 7? On today's video, we are going to be discussing the concept of Vegeta achieving Ultra Instinct and what it would have ultimately have been like to see two Ultra Instinct fighters in action during the Tournament of Power. So strap on in and hold on to your Dragon Balls, because we're going to be discussing the concept of Ultra Instinct Vegeta in the Tournament of Power next. If you are new to this channel and enjoy what you see, then don't forget to punch that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to receive new and daily content on your mobile devices, desktops, and services that I provide, along with following me on these social media platforms to stay connected with me at all times. Thank you so much for your continued support. Now let's begin. The concept of Vegeta obtaining Ultra Instinct within the Tournament of Power has been long talked about and debated ever since the inception of the Tournament of Power. But what if Vegeta was in fact able to achieve Ultra Instinct? Where would Universe 7's placement be going forward with not one, but two Ultra Instincts in the tournament? As joining me here today to discuss the topic of Ultra Instinct Vegeta is my good friend Super Saiyan Paul. As Paul, I wanted to ask you about the effectiveness of Ultra Instinct Vegeta in the tournament and the outcome as to what you believe would have happened if, instead of Goku obtaining Ultra Instinct, if it was in fact Vegeta as a replacement to be the one to have gained that power. Now, subjectively speaking, I think it would have been overkill if Toriyama and the developers and producers of the show included two Ultra Instincts, because we saw what Jiren was able to do against one UI, but I think by adding one more to the fray, it would have been complete overkill in the idea that Universe 7 would have eventually emerged as the winners, as there really wouldn't have been an opposition out there aside from Jiren to be left to do all the work in defending his universe against two Ultra Instincts. So my question to you is, let's say hypothetically speaking, whether or not you want to involve both UI Goku and UI Vegeta, or if anything replacing Goku for Vegeta, how effective do you believe Vegeta would have been in this tournament if he were to be given the Ultra Instinct powers instead of Goku, if you want to look at it from that point of view, or throwing in Vegeta with Goku in the form of UI? Where do you see Vegeta's placement in this tournament if he did have that power? And by the end of it, do you think that subjectively speaking, this tournament would have been boring in the idea that Universe 7 would have just been cleaning house to begin with? There wouldn't have been a real opposing member out there aside from possibly Jiren to even be remotely capable of holding them back, let alone winning the tournament. So let's say if Vegeta did gain that kind of a power, where do you see his placement and where do you see the direction of the tournament, given the fact that he would have Ultra Instinct?
If Vegeta got Ultra Instinct, it would really change up the game here, and I wouldn't be surprised if he did actually get it during the tournament, because people would have speculated that it would have been too many transformations in the tournament. But if you look at Kale and Khalifa and what happened with the Universe 6 Super Saiyans, them getting power buffs left and right, compared to what Vegeta got, it would have been very, very reasonable for Vegeta to get Ultra Instinct. Now, if they actually got that, I think Universe 7 would have just been the clear winner from the get-go, because we didn't see Goku master Ultra Instinct right away, and I think Vegeta would have probably, in my opinion, I would have rather see him master Ultra Instinct faster than Goku, and that would have really made that a lot more interesting. And the reason why I would say that it would be reasonable for both of them to get Ultra Instinct is because back earlier in Dragon Ball Super, during the Resurrection F arc, or even the Resurrection F movie, both Goku and Vegeta got Super Saiyan Blue at the same exact time. And on top of that, there was 3 transformations in that movie with Frieza on the other side. So that wouldn't be out of the water here in terms of like pacing and transformation wise. And plus the tournament powers was to push everybody to the limits. So both Goku and Vegeta, who have been training with the gods for this long, it makes sense for Vegeta to get it. And I think he would have been more than just the ace, because right now it's 17 in Vegeta, that next to like Goku in terms of like most important characters on the team. 17 and Vegeta were like almost neck and neck in terms of how much devastating blows they did to the enemy teams. But Vegeta, if he got Ultra Instinct, I think he would be the clear definitive winner. I think right at this point in time, with the way it ended, 17 was probably the low-key ace because in terms of not in terms of raw power, but in terms of what he was able to do with what he was given.
His barrier did provide a lot of support for the team. But I mean, wouldn't you say it would be boring if that were to happen? Because there were lots of people speculating and talking about, well, Vegeta was going to get Ultra Instinct, but he never ended up getting it, which was blatantly obvious because, you know, this was Goku's story. This was Goku's tournament. He called for this tournament. I mean, even against Beerus's wishes, when he told Beerus, hey, I want to go talk to Zenchan about this tournament, and Beerus said, no, you don't know him like the way we know him. You can't just disobey a god, and he went and did it anyway. So I personally feel, yes, it would be amazing to see Goku and Vegeta in their Ultra Instinct forms fight Jiren, fight God of Destruction Toppo, fight Dispo at full power. Hell, even if you want to include some of the other characters in here, you can include Kefla and Hit, but I just think that it would be so easy for Universe 7 to go in there and clutch it because, let's say hypothetically speaking, if one UI gets ended up taken down by Jiren, the other one's right there with you. So we saw how impressive, you know, Mastered Super Saiyan Goku, well, actually Mastered, you know, Ultra Instinct was against Jiren while he was going through Super Saiyan form, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, Kaioken times 20, and we saw how Vegeta broke through his shell in achieving the Ultra, you know, Super Saiyan Blue power. But here, with two UIs, wouldn't you say the tournament would be so boring going in there? Because I mean, you can't just pit up Jiren by himself against two Ultra Instinct-like characters that possess powers that not even gods do. So, would you say this would be boring? Or would you say that even at full power, Jiren could still, you know, at least hang in there with two UIs, given the fact that everything he showed off in the show? And just your take on them introducing that, because like you said, it's not outside the realm of possibility for them to have done that, because we saw the introduction of two Super Saiyan Blues at the exact same time, neck and neck against Golden Frieza, which was also introduced in the arc in the movie, which, you know, it wouldn't have surprised me if that were to happen, but logically speaking, I just felt like this was Goku's story, this was Goku's show, and, well, this is essentially the Goku show, but it's more or less Goku's fight with Jiren, and they've been building that up the entire time. So would you consider that to have been boring if that were to happen? If not, why? Or if so, why is it you believe that?
I think it wouldn't have been boring because if you look at the way this tournament went down, especially during the middle half, there was a lot of filler, especially with Ribrianne. I always bring up Ribrianne. If they replaced some of that Ribrianne content with some more Vegeta content, I would have been perfectly happy with that. In terms of Vegeta getting Ultra Instinct and fighting Jiren alongside Goku, that would have hyped Jiren a bit more, and that would have been a little bit more interesting than what we were given here, because if you get rid of some of the side stuff, some of the filler stuff, and hype it up with just Vegeta, Jiren, and Goku, that would have been a lot more interesting, because most of Dragon Ball Super was the Goku and Vegeta show, and a lot of people had problems with that. But if you had it in this particular tournament, the way things went down anyway, most of the Universe 7 characters were already thrown to the side as it was. So I would have rather them focused in it mainly on Goku and Vegeta and giving them these abilities, hyping it around this form, rather than what they did here, where everybody, even all the way up to Gohan's elimination, was just kind of meh. No,
it really was because of the way Gohan went out, but I just feel like the only reason why this would be boring is because, you know, without a doubt, you have Golden Frieza, Android 17, Ultimate Gohan, Ultra Instinct Goku, and Ultra Instinct Vegeta. That right there is a slaughter team, in my opinion, but I do agree in the idea that it would be very fascinating to see what they could do together, considering that Ultra Instinct is a state of awareness to where you master not only the, you know, awareness of your environment, but your power increases tremendously as well. And we saw how Goku, after going into the UI form for a third time, was able to perfect the power and go toe-to-toe against Jiren. But do you think that it would have been logical for Vegeta to get it now? The only reason why I would say no is because if Dragon Ball continued and we had another arc, I would say it would have been best for Vegeta to have gotten Ultra Instinct after, because if you're going to give UI to Goku during this tournament, if in fact they were going to go as far as making a 6th arc, I would have given Vegeta UI then. But since Super is over, my question to you is, how would you have, you know, allowed Vegeta to go into Ultra Instinct? At what given point do you think that it would be as a result from Jiren attacking? Do you think you would have rather have seen Vegeta achieve Ultra Instinct through, you know, God of Destruction Toppo? How would you have liked to see Vegeta go into UI and what would be like a plausible situation for you to see him go into that as we further our way towards the end of the tournament, assumingly if Vegeta were to unlock that power.
I think if it was towards the end of the tournament, I think the best part for him to unlock Ultra Instinct would be when he fought Toppo. If he got hit with the Hakai and managed to survive that would have unlocked, like the minute you see Vegeta get back up and you see the look in his eyes change, I think that would have been a real game changer and it would have really sold me on the idea. Even if we knew that he was going to win the tournament by far because of just the raw power with those forms, the flashiness of what, like all the hype around the form and everything, I think it would still add up and make Toppo even better as a character as well, because if you have an Ultra Instinct character taking you on and you're a god of destruction and he beats you, it's still an honorable defeat because Ultra Instinct is all the rage right now, and just seeing a moment like that, especially with the way things went down in the tournament with Vegeta unlocking his maxed blue form and having the final explosion stuff, if they combined these things with the Ultra Instinct stuff, it would have been a lot better in my opinion in terms of like keeping us entertained and engaged in the show, rather than having it like just like having a subpar form take out a god of destruction. It wasn't exactly Ultra Instinct and it was higher than Super Saiyan Blue, but it was in the middle. And in terms of that, I would have rather have them go balls to the wall and get Ultra Instinct out here and have that show Goku the way in terms of like unlocking the full potential of it. So.
I was going to disagree with you in saying that it would have been nice to see Jiren do it, because if you remember when Vegeta hit Jiren with the final flash, he bounced right back up and like used that explosion to decimate Vegeta. Like he blew him into like an oblivion, and he dropped on his knees and we saw how his eyes glazed over. But when you mentioned Toppo, at first thought I said to myself, well, Toppo wouldn't have mattered, I think, nor do I think that Toppo would have been suitable for him to go into that kind of power. But then I thought about it, what if they were to replay or at least showcase that fight with Toppo, except the way he went into or would go into Ultra Instinct would be as a result from the final explosion. If you think about it, now, I mean, the Hakai energy survival gimmick would be amazing to see him get engulfed like Frieza did, except unlike Frieza when he came back pissed off, you see Vegeta battle damaged, his armor's torn, his suit's ripped up, but you see that glimmer in his eye, and you know that something's different. I just think that it would have been suitable to see Vegeta blow himself up, but not eliminate Toppo. Like Toppo would still be in there somehow, like even though he would be damaged as well, the fact that Vegeta would have blown himself up and then you see this crater, and inside of that crater, just like how Goku took the Spirit Bomb, you see the reawakening of Vegeta as he emerges from the smoke with Ultra Instinct. But even with that being said, we have Ultra Instinct Vegeta, we have Ultra Instinct Goku. At some given point, would you say that, they would get overwhelmed as singular fighters going up against Jiren, or do you think that they would be able to work together in simultaneously tackling Jiren and being able to survive?
In terms of simultaneously attacking, I think that would make the most sense because that's what they were doing anyway.
That's scary. If you think about it, two UIs simultaneously attacking you, how the hell do you even fight back?
Well, imagine if he actually managed to block them. That would also be scary.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, that would be terrifying.
With him, if he actually activated after the final explosion, that would have probably been the best way for that to happen because...
Yeah, think about that, bro. Goku took the Spirit Bomb to the face and his own energy was struggling with the force of the bomb, and when he came back, he was different. Imagine Vegeta, just emitting all this power, and then once he blew himself up, number one, half the ring was gone when he first did it anyway. So imagine he blew himself up and there's nothing left, but you see this man emerge, and all of a sudden you see the theme song playing, and there he stands, gray eyes, silver eyes, his hair is different, and he's standing before Toppo, ready to engage. Just imagine that kind of a scenario.
That would have perfected it for me because one of the, like, honestly, as badass as that episode was, the part that I didn't like was that I compared it to Dragon Ball Z. The part where Vegeta turned into stone and fell and crumbled, I like that so much more. It was more iconic for me. And over here, he managed to survive it, which I feel like if they added Ultra Instinct to that mix, it would have perfected that ending for me. But in terms of like him attacking Jiren in like sync with Goku, I think that's what it was supposed to be. Like with given everything that happened in Super as it was, they were supposed to be like in sync. It was the Goku and Vegeta show, so that would have made sense. And that's what I would have liked to see go up against Jiren. But yeah, it might have been straightforward, or at the same time, while they're trying to master it, at this point in the tournament, imagine Jiren sees that he caught on to Ultra Instinct and he has to eliminate them one real quick before he gets out of hand.
But who do you think would have shined more? Ultra Instinct Vegeta or Ultra Instinct Goku? Because there is no such thing as an offensive defensive kind of thing. That was merely made up by a bunch of people in the community. Ultra Instinct is just that. It's a very rare power, but given the fact that, you know, Goku's nature and Vegeta's nature, who do you think would have had the upper hand? Because knowing how aggressive Vegeta is, I would have given him more of the edge in this fight, because knowing how he would go into every battle, you know, blood hungry and trying to decimate his opponent, who do you think would have shined more if they had Ultra Instinct together?
Against Jiren, definitely Vegeta, because you saw the way he was studying Jiren's attacks even without the Ultra Instinct ability. While he was on the ground there watching him fight Goku, he's trying to match up the punches and stuff like that, and he saw the opening without even having these abilities. So imagine if he did, the level that he'd probably be able to take it to, especially with all the time like in between when Goku first got Ultra Instinct up until that point where Goku was fighting Jiren right in front of his face while he was on the ground. All that time of just that mentally attacking him, like it always has with Vegeta, I think that would have pushed Vegeta to master that form way quicker than Goku, and that would have been probably the best thing for anything to happen here in this tournament.
I definitely believe that if Universe 7 did introduce 2 Ultra Instincts in this Tournament of Power, it would have been ultimately so easy for them to win, because the only other problem for Universe 7 to look after in this tournament would be Jiren, and I don't believe in my heart of hearts that Jiren would be able to oppose 2 Ultra Instincts, because we saw what happened during Dragon Ball Super Episode 129, Dragon Ball Super Episode 130, when Jiren encountered Ultra Instinct Omen Goku and fighting him. It was a pretty evenly fought battle. Now you can only imagine if Goku went down, Vegeta would be there to assist him and vice versa. So I don't think that in the long run, someone like Jiren, someone like Toppo, someone like Hit or Kefla, or any of the other characters, Anilaza, Dispo, would even be relative enough to even touching these characters aside from Jiren. So I think that by the end, it would have been so awesome to see an Ultra Instinct Vegeta more or less introduced aside from just Ultra Instinct Goku, and going as far as to say, okay, well, if they were both introduced, you can always give the mastery level to Goku, but still preserve Ultra Instinct Omen Vegeta in the tournament, and thus having not only 2 Ultra Instincts present, but one of them having to master it while the other one was in the imperfected state. So as an end result, having 2 Ultra Instincts in this tournament, I think would have been complete overkill, because it's not like we're going back to Resurrection of F when we had 2 Super Saiyan Blues be introduced, but instead rather have 2 powers that are relatively uncontrollable in nature and imperfected at that. So I personally believe that if Vegeta were to have Ultra Instinct, not only would the concept have been cool in having both Goku and Vegeta both complete Whis' training at the exact same time by achieving such a level, but I also do believe that given the state of divinity that Goku and Vegeta would be in, I think it would only be best suited for one of them to achieve it, as the other one would achieve it down the line, in which hoping that perhaps maybe one day the opportunity will arise for Vegeta to also gain Ultra Instinct one day. But in the end, let us know down below, guys, what do you guys think the outcome would have been if Vegeta had Ultra Instinct in the Tournament of Power alongside Goku, or if you guys want to count it as only Vegeta having it, what do you guys think the end result would have been if only Vegeta were to gain Ultra Instinct and nobody else? Let us know your thoughts down below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys are new to this channel, don't forget to go ahead and punch that subscribe button and enable all notifications. That way you guys can be notified whenever a brand new video is posted. Tune back in for more. If you guys want to go ahead and watch more videos like this from me, you guys can go ahead and check out the description box and click on the Dragon Ball What If playlist. Thank you all so very much for watching once again. Tune back in for more, and we'll be seeing you all down the comment section below. Take it easy, everybody. Cue my outro, bitch.